So how's it feeling in the steamy backyard there?
Dude, it's rough. It's been a rough couple days, and it looks like there's really no end in sight.
Not anytime soon. Next week we might get a little bit of that relief. And I know around some of the farm fields in the countryside, we have evapotranspiration is what it's called. It's basically just the moisture coming off the cornfields and the soybeans. And actually, the heat index can be even higher sometimes outside of the city around some of the farm fields, which is kind of, you don't think about that sometimes. Let me real quick put in your banner below here. So if you have any questions for Brad, you can always email me, ben@extolmag.com. Follow Wednesdays with Weddington on Facebook. We'll get his followers up. You can see the videos later on his Facebook page as well. And of course, just drop in the comments here below. If you have any questions around the home, Brad is here to help you with that. So is heat causing any issues? Your HVAC system, it could be anything. And it doesn't have to be heat related. Any question you might have around the house, that's what Brad is here for. So since we are in the middle of a heat wave, Brad, what would you consider something, we should all be thinking about around the home?
Number one, I mean, your air conditioning system is going to be working overtime. As long as these temperatures are plus 90 degrees. So one thing to think about is make sure that your filter is clean. If your filter is not clean, go ahead and change it out to a new, fresh filter. The best way to explain that to people is, your furnace, your blower motor on your furnace is running when your air conditioner is running, and that's transferring air within your home. If that filter is clogged, try to breathe and then try to put your shirt over your mouth and then try to breathe. It's gonna be even harder, just like it's gonna be harder on your AC system. If that filter is clogged up, it can hurt your airflow. It can really hurt your home from getting cooler to the temperature that you want it to be. But you did hit on a good point, Ben. A home is not a refrigerator, so it will only cool to a certain extent.
Right. So if you are seeing, your thermostat's at say 72, but it's like 74 in your house, maybe don't panic. It might just be because it's so freaking hot out there.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, it's just flat out it's not gonna keep up on these extremely hot days. And typically that means there's nothing wrong with your AC system. It was designed for that. When people think of HVAC, a lot of times they hone in on the H in the AC, which is the heat and the air conditioner. The V is your ventilation aspect. So once that air conditioner has run for a certain amount of time, it's really helping to condition your air. So you really want a system that is sized according to your home to give you the most efficiency 350 days out of the year. You're going to have some anomaly days, but you want that system to run for an extended period of time. If you have a system that's oversized, you're going to have it turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off. And it's never going to hit its peak efficiency.
Now, I've noticed in my house, the basement's obviously cool. The first floor is really cool. Now the upstairs feels just a tad more humid. Is it something we should think about if the humidity is not being drawn out of the air? While it might be 72 in the thermostat, but it just feels more humid. Is that normal as well, the humidity factor?
Yeah, when you go to your second floor, because I have a similar setup that you have been. I'm 2 stories on a basement, and my I call it a furnace air handler. It's in the basement of my home, and what helps a little bit on my house is that furnace that's in the basement, that's handling the basement and the main floor. On your thermostat, you've got an option for your fan. It's got auto and on. What that means is if you have it in the on position, it's going to constantly circulate that air. And where that helps a little bit is if you do have a furnace in the basement, because you're going to have return air in the basement as well. So when you've got that fan in the on position, it's pulling that cool air from the basement into that furnace and distributing it throughout that main floor. It's not going to work 100% if you don't have air conditioning, but it's going to at least help mix that air temperature and help that cool basement cool your main floor partially. As far as the upstairs unit, yeah, that bad boy's going to work pretty hard. Heat rises, and mine does the same thing. Matter of fact, my second floor is smaller than my first floor, but the air conditioner for my second floor system is larger than for my main floor system.
Mm,
For that fact, heat rises, and you got to battle it.
right. And I would say too, I've talked to, some HVAC folks here recently, and they're like, you should get regular checkups. We can, and you might be like, they're trying to sell me on this subscription checkup service, right? But if you're not good at changing filters and keeping up with things, you might be spending more down the road than you would having these checkups. What do you think of that?
A lot of them do have good services, but a lot of times you got to look at, are they simply trying to sell me a new system? Is that what it comes down to? But you have good players and bad players out there. So I think a service schedule would be beneficial for somebody that doesn't really know the inner workings of how the system works, and they just want that additional peace of mind that, hey, I'm on a maintenance schedule, and company XYZ is making sure I've got a good cleaning in the spring and the fall. That's something you can definitely get involved with. For me on mine, it's pretty simple. We've got an air filter. We got to make sure that we change that air filter monthly.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, there definitely are some companies that offer services like that kind of takes that out of your mind and puts it onto their plate to where you don't have to worry about it as much. So there's
Yeah.
definitely some good
I think my
companies out there.
mom, I think my mom, since I barely do mine regularly. She's got a company that helps out every now and again. But you said monthly. I've been like quarterly, and I just changed out my filters, and my dogs have been shedding like crazy, and it was completely covered up. So I've got to do the homework myself to remember that too. Now, what would you say? In the wintertime, we always think about, sealing up the cracks and making our houses tighter so they're not leaking and we're not letting in that cold air. Is the same true in the summertime? We need to be watching for those leaks.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and make sure that you keep the doors shut. I mean, it's a pretty common thing, but make sure you keep your doors shut. Um, Windows are a big thing. You're gonna gain a lot of heat beating through those windows. So if you've got blinds on your windows, make sure you keep those closed through the day. It's gonna help kind of combat those UV rays from hitting your house so bad. Um, that's kind of the main thing is make sure your filter's clean. If it's not clean, put a new furnace filter in. Keep the blinds shut. Make sure the doors are shut. Stay inside. Don't. I'm sitting outside right now, and I'm telling you, it's
Sweating
on the
already. I
verge
know.
of it's yesterday was on the verge of dangerous. I told my guys, I said, hey, go to a house that we've got that's got AC in it. Work inside for the next couple of days because it's going to be brutal.
Yeah, for sure. And Vicky Berger's got a comment. Yeah, my brother lives on a farm and it's sticky and hot. His AC went out 2 days ago. They had to order the part. So, I mean, I've got a truck that I drive around without AC, and it's rough. And but a house without AC, that is rough stuff. So hopefully your brother gets that part in very soon. Now, speaking of workers, what is the Home Builder Association here in Southern Indiana that you're part of?
Building and Development Association of Southern Indiana.
Okay, so I'm sure there's got to be talk about safety. You got subcontractors that work on homes. They've got bosses. So there's got to be a responsibility there. I mean, a lot of Gatorade, maybe not during the peak of the afternoon heating. What kind of changes in your business do you see during heat waves like this?
We see a lot of people where they'll work from 6 to about 11 a.m. and then they'll cut out for 3-4 hours and come back in at about 5:30, 6 o'clock and work till
Hmm.
8, 9 o'clock at night. So they're still getting their full 8 to 9 hours, but they're really skipping that main hot part of the day. Stay in the shade, plenty of liquids. But at the end of the day,
All the heat safety tips, yeah.
Ben, I would still prefer this over the cold. When it comes to working in it, I would prefer this over
Really?
the cold. Yes.
Well, you can get more done. You can get the concrete in. You can get a lot done. even when it's hot and sweaty out there like this. My one last question here, because this one just is kind of a personal note. So say you've got maybe you didn't buy a new home or didn't have a custom home built like you do, but you're starting to see this is all about like caulking. So whether it's doors and windows or whether it's your kitchen and bath, when should you think about doing it yourself or getting somebody to check it out and maybe do it for you? Because caulk doesn't last forever, right?
Right. It shrinks up and it cracks when the heat gets to it. So on a lot of the homes that we build, one of the first places you'll see it when you come back for a warranty is crown molding on the ceiling, because heat rises, it's the highest point, it's going to shrink and crack. When it comes to touching up your own caulking in a home, crown molding, trim, stuff like that, those are all aesthetic things. So that's definitely something that people can do. It's not going to hurt anything. When it comes to bath areas, exterior of the homes, if you've got a leak and you're trying to fix it yourself, you might want to at least lean on a professional and say, here's what I've got. Here's what I'm looking to use to fix it. Is this going to work? Yay or nay? Because you want to make sure you're sealing up whatever issue that is that you have on the exterior of your home. But when it comes to menial little touch-ups on trim and stuff like that, it's definitely something you can take care of.
Very good. Now, do you have anything else you want to add that you were thinking about during the heat wave that I haven't touched on yet?
No, just make it cooler, Ben. I mean, it's funny because for you as a weatherman for years, I mean, people love you when it's 70 and sunny. When it's hot like this or when it's freezing cold, it's rough on us out here.
And it's human nature to complain about no matter what's happening, because we were complaining about the winter. We were complaining about too much rain through the spring season, and now it's summer, and now it's too hot. So there you go.
Yeah,
it would be nice to have something normal, though. So yeah, next week we've got actually a decent rain chance next Tuesday, and then maybe a little bit cooler as we head to the middle of next week, which will be my birthday, July 3rd, and then the nation's birthday, July 4th. So hopefully around that celebratory period, we'll be cooling off a little bit. Thanks for taking time with us, Brad, and we'll see you next time on Wednesdays with Weddington. Appreciate it.
All right, see you, Ben.
Thanks for sweating it out. We'll see you later.